Hey everybody, we're going to dig deep for this Hot Wheels restoration. Don't go away. Hey gang, it's Paul from Fat Guy Productions coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And today we are indeed digging deep. I'm going to my trash heap. That's right, I have dug out of my discard pile. Now this is the pile of cars for whatever reason I have decided aren't going to get restored, okay? And I've dug deep and I pulled out a Torero that was in that pile and we're going to restore it today. So let's get right to it.
As it was in my trash heap, this car is already in pieces. As you can see, the base is not in great shape, and the body was in even worse condition. With the car looking this bad, I'll take everything over to my electro polisher and run it through that first, and then I'll go ahead and put some zinc on everything. I put this in the scrap heap, I think, because the posts weren't really good. But looking at it closer, I think I'm going to be able to save this car. I ended up running the body and the base through the electro polisher twice, about 20 seconds each time. Afterwards, I'll just rinse it off in some fresh water and give it a good looking at and figure out what I need to do next. While the base is certainly better than it was, it still has a long way to go. So we'll hit it with the brass bristle brush, a little 4-0 steel wool, and then probably give it another pass in the electro polisher. I'm sorry I don't have a before shot of the car, but, I took it apart a long time ago, and only just now pulled it out of the trash heap. I don't think I really ever intended to restore this car, but like I said, after looking at it, I think I can make something of it. Alright, so I'm happy with the way the base is looking, and I can detail it out later. So I think it's time to go ahead and head over to the zinc plating bath and take the body for a swim. I'll let the body stay in the zinc for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then I'll take it out, wash it, degrease it, polish it up, and head to the paint booth. Okay, here's the Torero body, and after the work, it's looking pretty good. But I'm about to make my first mistake with this car, in that I haven't fixed the posts yet. And yet, here I am at the paint booth. This will be a mistake. I'll get around it later, but it's still going to be a mistake and make my life a lot harder. I'm going to use this aqua paint from Brightvision. I used Brightvisions on an earlier project, and I was happy with the results. I'll probably still be a Redline Shops guy, but the Brightvision stuff is really good. This bottle's been sitting around for quite a while, and you can see it got a little bit thick. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of lacquer thinner, and I'm going to cut it to make it a little bit thinner so it'll spray out of my airbrush nicely. Alright, so I'm liking the viscosity, so now I can go ahead and add some of the hardener. I have a big spray bottle of water next to my paint booth, so before I start painting anything, I mist the entire booth down really well. This will help keep dust from flying about and particles landing on my brand new paint job. All right, the paint booth is wet down and the fan is running. The compressor is on and the paint cup on the airbrush is loaded. It's time to start painting. Like all my paint jobs, I start by giving a tack coat, then a medium coat, and then I'll finish it off with as many wet coats as I need to get the right color depth and to make sure that I have a great glossy sheen to the car. Some of the keys to getting a great paint job are to keep the car moving, don't go too heavy, and make sure you leave enough time in between coats, because even though it seems like it might be kind of dry, if the coats aren't dry enough and you add another coat on top, you can get a sag in the paint. Lighting is crucial, and you should be able to see that beautiful wet coat laying down on the model. I used to leave the paint to cure for about 3 days, but I found out it probably needed a little bit longer than that. So now I'm leaving them for about a week before I do anything else with them. That gives me plenty of time to work on the rest of the car. Here I am giving the base, fresh out of electropolishing, a little bit more love with a brass bristle brush. I'll follow that up with some 4.0 steel wool and some Flitz metal polish, and get this thing looking really, really nice. And later we'll put some wheels on it. Somebody had commented once about cutting the wheels off, and I understand their concerns. If I think the wheel is worth saving, I would certainly save the wheel. But in some of the cases, the nylon bearings are in such weak shape that trying to pull the wheel off may just destroy the car. So if there's any question, I'll just go ahead and nip them off. I already have a giant bag of old wheels that I've saved, and this one wheel that was still hanging on here, I really didn't need it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. As I said earlier, it's time for some Flitz metal polish and the rotary tool. Okay, I've polished this up pretty good with the rotary tool, and now I can just give it a good shining with a cloth and put it aside and wait for the rest of the car to get ready. Here I have the interior, and the windshield is just kind of a snap fit onto it. So I'm just going to pull the two apart so I can deal with them separately. The interior is in perfect shape. It's just really, really dirty. And the windshield's not so bad. It's just going to need a little bit of polishing with my Flitz. And then, of course, you should all know by now, it's going to go swimming in my gauzy. Okay, the windshield's all polished. Then I took it to the sink and washed it off real good. And now it's time for the gauzy. Gauzy is just a clear acrylic that's going to give the windshield a really clear, beautiful finish. When you see me rolling it around in my hands like this, I'm not doing it just for fun or exercise. I'm actually shaking the gauzy around. I just don't want to do it in such a way as to induce a bunch of bubbles. So I spin it around in my hands, open it up, make sure I have a paper towel handy, and into the gauzy goes the windshield. Now all I do is just kind of let it all wick off onto the paper towel from a corner of the windshield. Then I'll set it down on the paper plate and cover it to dry. Okay, just about everything is done. Now it's just a waiting game. Waiting for the body to be thoroughly dry and waiting for the gauzy on the windshield to dry. I'm about ready to put this car back together, so I'm just looking at the wheels I'm going to use. And as I've mentioned before on Redlines, I really like the chrome wheels, even if they're not correct for the car. I just think they really look amazing. Remember back when I was about to start painting, I said I was about to make a mistake? Well, yeah, I didn't take care of the posts. And true enough, this car was in my garbage pile because the posts were kind of messed up. So now I have to deal with the posts while I've got this beautiful fresh paint job on here. So I'm just going to have to be extra, extra, extra careful and pray that my Vix Bits are as great as I think they are. Okay, to start things off, I want to kind of get the posts evened up and with a little divot in them for me to drill into. So I'm using a Vix bit that's just a little bit bigger than the post, so the bit will fit over the post, and then the inside drill bit can come down and drill it out nice and even. I'll need a smaller one from the front and a bigger one for the back, as this has two different size posts. Once the Vix bits have done their magic and cleaned everything all up, I can take regular drill bits. I'll drill a bigger hole in the back post and a smaller hole in the front, because in the back I'm going to use a 256 screw, and in the front I'm going to use a 172 screw. Okay, I think I've got everything here I need. I see that I'm about to put the windshield in and realize, well, no, I need to put it onto the interior first, so I'll stop and just kind of snap the two pieces together. It's just a little friction fit, nothing big. And now I can go ahead and drop the interior back into the car. All right, with that in place, I'm ready for the base, but I haven't put the wheels on yet. So let's go ahead and do that now. Those are going to take 4 medium wheels. All I did is choose a slightly deeper dish chrome wheel for the back and not deep dish for the front, just to give it a little variety. So I'll pop out the wheels, and with my wheel alignment tool to act as a spacer, I'll just press them on with my fingers. Alright, with all 4 wheels on, I can go ahead and start focusing on wheel alignment. And the trick is to just hook the alignment tool over the axle, pull down to get some counter tension, and then bend it the way it needs to go. These axles were pretty badly bent out of shape, So I don't want to go too far and possibly break them. Close is going to be good enough on this car, I think. All right, I'm happy with the wheels. They look great. They spin great. I think it's time to go ahead and button this car up. So we can go ahead and set the base onto the body and then get the screws out and screw this thing back together. As I've mentioned, this car has two different size posts. The back one is bigger and will easily take a 256 screw. So that's what I'll be using in the back. And in the front, I'll be using a 172 screw. You remember in the movie Monty Python when they're collecting the dead people and he's going, "Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!" That's kind of how I feel here. I feel like I brought out my dead, and instead of them being carted off, somebody resurrected it. Because this car was in my left for dead pile. And look at it now. I mean, it really, really looks amazing. And the paint is just to die for. So happy with this car, and I'm glad I went into my trash pile.
All right, there it is. My Torero, right out of the left for dead pile, okay? And I gotta tell you, it came out beautiful. The paint is just stellar. I love the color, and it just really, really came out really super good considering it was in the DOA pile. I guess it just goes to prove that if you really want to restore one of these things, no matter what condition, as long as you're willing to put in the work and are flexible about the things that you're going to do, you can restore just about anything. This Torero is testament to that. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, click subscribe. If you click the little bell, it'll let you know anytime I upload a new video. If you have any questions or want to just make a comment, please do so. I love to hear from you guys. And that's going to be it for today. This is Paul from Fat Guy Productions, wishing you the most spectacular, beautiful, happy, sunny day. Until next time, be good.